I want to ask two questions today. Where is the media and where is the Reserve Bank? I'm talking about the Forex cartel. We all know that market manipulation is a crime. We all know that market cornering is a crime. But why is it that it seems as if the media, mainstream media, has dropped the ball on the Forex cartel story? And why does it seem as if the Reserve Bank itself has dropped the ball on its mandate? Let's start with the media. Does the media make less noise about corporate corruption than it does other forms of corruption? Does the media pay more attention to Julius Malema and Paul Mashatile than they do Standard Bank, Glencore, and the oligarchs who control the South African economy? Sometimes people say that the media doesn't pay as much attention to the behavior of companies because it's private money, and that by contrast, government officials' actions are done with taxpayer money. But what if the corruption involves the money itself? What the Forex cartel is accused of is significant and serious, grave. So why haven't we heard as much about it from the media? When it came to VBS, let's be very honest, we saw media commitment and resources galore. We saw articles, we saw investigative journalistic sites, we saw graphs, charts, bank statements. When it came to the Guptas, we saw media commitment and resources galore. When it came to Nkandla, we saw books, podcasts, you name it, we saw it. The cost of these scandals, VBS, the Guptas, Nkandla, and others that relate to politicians, state capture itself, have been in the billions. But the cost of the Forex cartel currency manipulation is in the trillions. So if we got attention at the level that we did for billions, why are we not getting the same level attention for trillions? Now, Standard Chartered Bank has settled with the Competition Commission. They settled last week, and I thought this was going to be everywhere. They admitted liability to the manipulation of the US dollar and the rand currency pair, and they agreed to pay over 42 million rands. This is an ongoing case, actually, because this stuff is still at the Competition Appeal Court relating to the Forex cartel. The banks are doing everything they can to prevent this thing from going forward. So this settlement by Standard Chartered Bank was merely them trying to just, get themselves out of this. But to me, it was so significant. It was so significant because when you think about it, we just saw the Diddy and Cassie saga. The fact that Diddy settled within a day, $30 million US, told us everything we needed to know about what Cassie was alleging and some of the rumors around Diddy. And it told us how afraid he was of this going to a court where the public would fully hear under legal scrutiny and under oath what Diddy had done. So if the banks are settling, or some of them are settling, Citibank settled already years ago, and Standard Chartered Bank settled this year for 42 million. How much was looted? How much damage was done? It's a significant question. It's a significant question. So when I checked the Sunday papers, when I checked the business papers, I thought that this was going to be front page news everywhere. But I was shocked to see very little of this story throughout the papers. I didn't see it. I checked Sunday Times, I checked City Press, I checked Business Day, nothing. It's quite concerning if you think about it. I mean, let's dive into these allegations further. The allegations, and you can see the impact of this particular Forex cartel. To put it in perspective, in the year 2000, the rand was trading at 1:6 to the US dollar. In the year 2016, it was trading at 1:16 to the US dollar. And in 2023, it's been trading at 1:18, 1:19 to the US dollar. Basically, in the last 10 years, the Rand has lost 44% of its value. That's significant. You can't tell me that the media shouldn't have covered this. And they have covered it to a small extent, but has it really been to the extent that you saw for the Guptas, for state capture, for VBS, for any of the big scandals? Digital Vibes, is it the same? I don't think it's the same. And I think by failing to cover it in the way that they did, that they've done, the media has hurt its collective credibility, because it seems as if they are unable and unwilling to go against those people who sponsor them, pay for ads, or whether it's TV, whether it's in print, and fund some of their projects. That's what it looks like right now. But I was going to discuss the allegations a little bit, just to bring them into context for those who are not familiar with them or haven't been following this story fully. The Competition Commission said between 2007 and at least 2013, they say that because they're not sure how far this goes. They're not sure. It could still be ongoing. That 28 banks from multiple jurisdictions in Europe, South Africa, Australia, United States of America conspired to manipulate the South African Rand through information sharing on electronic and other platforms through various coordination strategies. And that the manipulation impacted on the exchange rate of the South African Rand, which in turn affected various parts of the South African economy, including imports, exports, foreign direct investments. And they said that these banks operated like a cartel. From the Competition Commission papers, they say, and this is just also competition law, the hallmark of a cartel is that the objective of the members of the conspiracy is anti-competitive and consists of an arrangement which they themselves consider themselves bound to. Cartel. Imagine that. Now, the specifics are that several things were being done. Traders would participate actively, passively in frequent and regular communication and contact with one or more traders employed by or representing competing banks when engaged in trading the Rand and dollar. The purpose of the communication and contact between the competing traders was to offer and provide assistance to competing traders through the coordination of trading activities, to request and accept assistance from competing traders through the coordination of trading activities, to offer and provide information to competing traders. They were supposed to be competing for the best price, but they were trying to screw over the Rand, destroy the value. That's what was happening. To reach understandings of trading strategies and the coordination of trading activity in order to assist and be assisted by competing traders, sharing information, reaching agreements on bid offer spreads, sharing information, reaching agreements on the order of trading and giving effect to those agreements, sharing information, reaching agreements to consolidate and offset trades, sharing information, reaching agreements to manipulate bid offer prices on the Reuters trading platform, sharing information, reaching agreements to manipulate the level of the spot rate, sharing competitively sensitive information, including information on the customer inquiries and orders. They were sharing information on who was ordering how much so that they could profit off this to the tune of trillions. I wanna ask the second question. And the second question really is about where the other actors were. You know, there are so many laws that prohibit this kind of activity. I'm just going to go through them just to put it in perspective. Number one is the Competition Act. Well, it's not number one in terms of priority, but it's one of the laws, the Competition Act. 2, Exchange Control Regulations. 3, the Banks Act. 4, the Financial Intelligence Center Act. 5, the Securities Services Act. Many laws were broken here. Many laws. The entities that are responsible for the oversight of all of these acts, the Reserve Bank, the Prudential Authority, the Financial Intelligence Center, and the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. Where were these entities? while all of this was happening from 2007 up until 2013, possibly ongoing? Where were they? What are they doing? I think that's a question that policymakers need to ask themselves going forward. And I think it's a question that they need to ask all of the people who are in charge of these entities. The mandate of the Reserve Bank is that it's supposed to protect the value of the currency. Section 224 of the Constitution of South Africa states the following about the mandate of the Reserve Bank. The primary object of the South African Reserve Bank is to protect the value of the currency in the interests of balanced and sustainable economic growth in the Republic. The South African Reserve Bank has a mandate to protect and enhance financial stability, to identify and mitigate systemic risks that might disrupt the financial system. I don't know if you think they did this, but I think many people have got questions. The Prudential Authority regulates financial institutions and market infrastructures to promote and enhance their safety and soundness and support financial stability. The Reserve Bank has been very, very disciplined on, increasing interest rates, making sure that the inflation target is between a particular very narrow bandwidth. But have they been as effective in protecting consumers from the banks? Because they've been very effective in controlling consumer spending, making sure that they can mitigate the cost of of inflation. But what about this funny business? Right now, there are political parties all speaking about this particular topic, but I don't think that all of them have got the same integrity in speaking about this topic, because one of them was running the country while all of this was happening. I also just want to say something that's on my mind right now, is that Zuma was blamed for a lot of things that he didn't do. I'm not saying he was a perfect man, by no stretch of the imagination. I protested against Jacob Zuma when it was Fees Must Fall, and I went to the Zuma Must Fall marches. But in retrospect, I think that he was blamed for way more than he was responsible for. There were people inside Eskom who wanted to push for IPPs, in and around Eskom wanted to push for IPPs, who I think contributed to the collapse of Eskom. There were people at Glencore who were manipulating the price of coal, who I think need to be held accountable for what they did, but they weren't, unfortunately, because Glencore was ignored by the State Capture Commission. And now it seems there were people in banks, maybe not the whole bank, but definitely some people who were part of this Forex cartel, destroying the value of the rand, and Zuma was being blamed for that. It's food for thought, huh? Let's have a conversation. What do you think about this whole saga as it's unfolding? Do you think that the Reserve Bank did its job? Do you think that the media is doing their job in terms of reporting this to you, explaining this to you? Let's have a conversation.